We have some major breaking news as it has been announced that Frankie Muniz will not run in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Darlington this weekend due to injury. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we get some pretty massive major breaking news this early morning as it has been announced that Frankie Muniz will not be running the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race this weekend at Darlington Raceway. The reason being he unfortunately suffered an injury. Here's a statement from the Ram Brothers and we'll go through Frankie's statement as well. Official statement. Frankie Muniz was involved in an accident at his home in Arizona yesterday morning where he suffered a distal radius fracture in his wrist. Currently, there is no timeline for his return. Our focus is on a speedy recovery and competing together again soon. Mason Maggio will race the number 33 this weekend in place of Frankie, meaning that Mason Maggio will move from the number 22 truck this weekend, which he had a really good throwback, and they'll transition that over to the number 33 truck for this weekend. Frankie Muniz also has released a statement earlier today as well. He says, the phrase FML, Frankie Muniz's life, takes on a new meaning with moments like these. I'm disappointed to share that I won't be racing in Darlington this weekend or for the next few weeks due to distal radius fracture. Yesterday, I fell from the top of a ladder while changing the batteries in a Ring camera in my backyard. Note to self, heed the ladder warning that says, do not sit or stand on top step. In hindsight, a taller ladder would have been smarter. While I'm gutted to miss the races, I'm grateful it wasn't worse. I feel for my team who's poured their hearts into this season, and I'm thankful for full performance and their unwavering support. The doctor estimates a 6 to 8 week recovery, so I'll be back in the driver's seat as soon as I'm cleared. First thing I want to say really quickly, wishing Frankie Muniz a healthy and speedy recovery as soon as possible. Injuries like that, again, they're saying 6 to 8 weeks. He might be out for the next couple months or so. My best guess is because of the injury. I would not expect Frankie Muniz more than likely to run at least the remainder of the season, or the earliest I would probably see him coming back if it's 6 weeks. I'm thinking 6 weeks for now might be around Martinsville weekend, I'm pretty sure, because he got this week, then so he won't be running New Hampshire, and he won't be running a lot of races coming up very soon. And I think for the most important thing for Frankie Muniz currently at the moment right now is to make sure he gets healthy and safe as possible and make sure he recovers as quickly as he can, but also take his time and don't rush yourself back. Listen to what the doctors say and try to wishing him a speedy recovery at this point, but don't rush yourself back behind the wheel of a race car. Frankie Muniz has had a frustrating season so far in 2025. We all kind of thought when it was announced he was going to be going to the Rain Brothers in the 2025 season, we all thought that he would basically be okay at best, but we knew that the organization he was going to be driving for wasn't really the fastest organization in the world. I've said this about the Ram Brothers in the past. They're doing the best they can with the budget that they have, but they're generally one of the slower teams on the grid every single week. They run between 30th and 35th, and granted, Frankie's had a top 10 this year earlier near Daytona. Of course, got that top 10 with Park Clearman, was disqualified from the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series win that gave the win to Corey Heim. But outside of that, it's just been a struggle. He's had a couple other decent runs, had a good run going earlier at Atlanta for, I believe he had a tire issue near the end of the race. Then he actually was up inside the top 5 in Michigan after that big wreck happened on one of the late race restarts, but he missed a gear and dropped back quite a bit. So it's been a frustrating year overall for Frankie Muniz in the 2025 year, which is disappointing because I think we all want to see Frankie Muniz have a very successful season, and unfortunately it just hasn't come to that this year, 2025. There's also going to be questions about next year as well, whether Frankie is going to return to the Rain Brothers in the Craftsman Truck Series next year, or could move on to a different organization next season, or does he want to stay in the Craftsman Truck Series and continue racing? Because it's been a frustrating year in general for Frankie. You go on his Twitter, you go on his social media pages, and you just see all the stuff that has been happening at this point. For Frankie, though, again, the most important thing right now at the moment is we're wishing him his speedy recovery and he can get back behind the wheel of a race car as soon as possible. On the other side, let's talk about Mason Maggio taking over the truck. This guy makes a lot of sense. Already announced he was going to be in the 22 truck this weekend. My best guess is that paint scheme that he had for the 22 truck is going to transfer over to the number 33 truck for the weekend. Mason's a really good driver, in my opinion, very underrated. The guy has gotten into underfunded cars and actually done decent in underfunded equipment and has put up some really strong, good performances so far this year at times. And remember last year when he took that Floridian Motorsports team and competing for a top 20 spot at one point, I think of like Bristol or Marshall, something like that earlier last year. So I think for Mason, this is going to be a good opportunity to drive a number 33 truck. Hopefully the equipment can survive because I've talked about the Rainbows once again. It has been a struggle for that program. At least for Frankie, he's done better times than Tony Breininger, which says something about her not probably being ready for the Craftsman Truck Series at this point. I remember when Frankie was coming up to the ranks, right, when he was racing at ARCA a couple years ago, and he was the points leader at one point in 2024 in the ARCA Series, and then in 23, I should say, And then they kind of fell off a little bit in the second half, had some mechanical issues, and he finished fourth from the points, had some decent runs. I think he scored a top 5 or 2 top 5s during the year. And now, of course, with the Rhett Jones team, you got Cletus who's been making starts with that program this year. But I will say for Frankie, it's just been a tumultuous last couple years. He tried to go up in an Xfinity race, and the rumors of him having some sort of ownership stake in the Joey Gates Motorsports team. Obviously, Scott Astin take over that ownership role, but Frankie was looking to purchase maybe for 2025. But going back to Frankie for a second, Frankie Muniz is one of the most interesting stories going into the year because we weren't sure how he was going to do. And I know he's gotten some good sponsorship from Morgan, and Morgan is sponsor willing to work with him. But it's just been one of those tumultuous seasons for Frankie Muniz this year. And it's just disappointing to see someone like him miss another race. And I hope that he has a speedy recovery. We've had a lot of injuries in NASCAR this year. Think about Connor Zilisch. Connor Zilisch had 2 injuries so far this year. He unfortunately broke his back at a race at Talladega, or fractured his back, had to miss a race at Texas, has come back, and he's looked a lot stronger. And Connor Zilisch started the race at Daytona after basically hurting, I believe, his wrist or a collarbone fracture, I'm pretty sure. And Connor Zilisch already has a win so far at this point. So we've seen drivers come back from injuries and be pretty successful. So maybe this will be something that can help Frankie have a little bit of success. But again, the most important thing is he recovers as soon as possible. I hope Frankie can be back at the racetrack as soon as possible and get behind the wheel of a truck once again, or maybe an Xfinity car in the future. Who knows at this point? But again, hoping Frankie can have a speedy recovery, get back to the racetrack as soon as possible, and hope he can be racing once again very, very soon. I don't know when he'll be back. Again, we have the schedule coming up. We do have this week at Darlington. Trucks, I believe, is off they're off, I believe, next week, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they run, actually, no, they're running at Gateway. No, they're actually off next week. And then, of course, the week after that, you got Bristol. He'll miss Bristol for sure. New Hampshire's in the second round. New Hampshire, I expect he will, of course, won't run there. If they're saying 8 weeks, it might be the championship race or Martinsville. Maybe he runs Phoenix. Who knows at this point? But we'll wait to see how long he's out. Nonetheless, wishing a speedy recovery for Frankie. Hope he can be back behind the wheel of a Craftsman Truck Series truck very soon and get back well and hopefully a speedy recovery really, really soon. So that is going to take special breaking news report on Frankie Muniz missing the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Race at Darlington. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's get some more of that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. Hopefully Frankie can recover very, very soon. Later today, of course, we will have the paint scheme video dropping for the Cup and Xfinity Series races, and of course the truck race at Portland and Darlington. Then, of course, we will tomorrow on the channel have a NASCAR news video talk about this news that broke earlier today, talk about some lawsuit updates because we might get some information from the hearing today from the 2011 Front Row Motorsports lawsuit. Michael Jordan, maybe some uncertain futures around people like Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, and Noah Gragson, and Riley Hurts because of that. We also, of course, are going to have potentially reactions to Craftsman Truck Series qualifying from Darlington, but I'm not sure at this point. Then, of course, on Saturday, with reactions to the Xfinity Series race in Portland, we'll, of course, have the Cup reactions to Darlington qualifying. And, of course, we will have the Truck Series race review. And then, of course, on Sunday, we will have the NASCAR Cup race review from Darlington for the Southern 500. Hopefully, the weather holds off and starting lineup video. And then, of course, we will on Monday have a NASCAR news video dropping. We're going to have content coming on people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bo Wallace, Ross Chastain, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Frankie Muniz, Junior Motorsports, Daniel Suarez, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, Chase Light, Ryan Preece. Call Racing, we've got some updates on potential drivers for that. We're going to have a video around that coming out very soon as well, and some other good stuff that's coming out on the channel, and other things like Harrison Burton as well, Carson Quaffle, Junior Motorsports, all that we'll talk about on the channel in the coming days and coming weeks as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, buddy.